Okay. I'm impressed with the video. I didn't think it was going to get that many views on my reaction video. I'm really impressed. Um, so, um, wow, got some new subscribers. So thanks for subscribing to the channel. I want to make another video right quick. And of course, I'm gonna get back into the what I normally talk about, which is music and gear and studio recording and everything else. But I want to thank everyone for always supporting the channel. But I think this may sound a little off topic, but I think it's important. And I just got off the phone with a buddy of mine, producer, friend, buddy of mine, and he mentioned something about relationships, and I thought about this, and I said, you know what, this is kind of important. It may not seem like it's important, but it's actually important. If you are trying to do this musically, let's say you're trying to make it a career or whatever the case, the one thing about doing this is having peace of mind and not being stressed, trying to juggle between trying to do your music and maybe out there, you may be a point where you might have to tour or whatever the case. You may become an artist that may start doing shows and venues and all that. And the one thing as an artist, you're going to, or even as a producer or whatever the case, you're going to start meeting people. Like for me, I'm divorced, but even in the situation of if I'm bringing, let's say, female artists over here, being a male, if I was married, that could still run into some. You could run into some issues. So the one thing that you're trying to do, whether you're trying to record clients or you're trying to do this for yourself or you're going to tour, whatever the case may be, you want peace of mind. And so all I can say is, if you don't have a supporting partner in trying to help you do this, you're going to run into issues that's going to make this being stressful, because now you're trying to explain, if you're not out there, you're not cheating or whatever, now you got to try to convince them that you're not cheating or whatever the case, even though they might, whatever the case may be. And so all I can say is you want to have peace of mind. And it may not work. It could possibly not work or go the way you want when you have relation conflicts and you're trying to do your music. So I just wanted to throw that out there right quick. You got to find a way to make it work. And sometimes that might be requiring sacrifice. Don't get so caught up with the music that you're not spending time with your spouse, if you're married, or your partner. If you're in a relationship or whatever, the case, your guy, she's gonna want some quality time. You got to balance that. The mistake that I made when I was married was I didn't know how to balance. I didn't know how to give real quality time. And it's a shame, but I wish I had learned how to really balance me trying to do music. And then of course I was into racing cars and building my Mustang and all these things. And I did not know how to balance the quality time to maintain a relationship. I thought the fact that if if I, getting a house and just being here was enough in it. No. So think about that. Think about that. If you're in your relationship, how do you balance your time so you do not so you don't run into conflicts in your relationship that might be called stress. And I just want to throw that out there. I know it may not seem like it's important, but it is important if you want to have peace of mind and being able to do your music, because you're going to meet people, and you're male, you're going to meet a lot of females, and if you're female, you're going to meet a lot of males, and you just gotta, because what I want to say also, last thing I want to say, one thing I can tell you this, and it took me a long time to realize this. As a guy, and I'm going to say this, if you're a guy and you got a female relationship, you got a relationship with your female girlfriend or your spouse, I'm going to tell you about, if a woman cheats, she's checked out. Even though some guys may think that you can reconcile the relationship, because one thing about women, when they get into a relationship, they're 100% emotionally in until things give her a reason to become emotionally checked out. And once she checks out, the love isn't there anymore. Guys, it just, if you're a guy and your woman cheats, that relationship is over. And that's a hard thing that's a hard pill to swallow. Because then your mind's not going to be right. You're not going to be focused. You're not going to, it's like you're going to be thinking, what did I do wrong? And like I said, for me, I didn't know how to keep a balanced relationship. I was in the military, being in the Army, things like that. I didn't know how to be a husband. So I thought the little things that I was doing was, and I really didn't. But I'm telling you, you got to find a way to balance your relationship, your music career, your relationship. If you got kids, you got to balance all of that out. The music can't be so important that you ignore your family. Your own personal priorities and wants can't. And it took me a long time to understand and realize that. All I can say is that you got to find a way to balance your priorities and make, between your family, your girlfriend, your husband, or if you're a guy, if you're a woman, your husband, if you're a guy, your wife, your partner, your significant other. You got to find a way to balance. If you're a father, you got kids, or you're a mother, you got kids, you got to balance, because the same thing is, kids aren't stupid either. Kids have realized when their parents are not interested and don't really care about their interests. That's why they'll start focusing their attention as they get older. It's like a 5-year-old kid will be all about wanting to show their parents, look what I can do. But if you keep shunning your kids, they're going to see that. Eventually, when they become 10, and then of course when they become 15, 20, of course you can't expect, if you ignore your kids' wants and desires, you can't expect them to care that you care. Or by the time they're an adult, by the time they're 20, they gonna think you're being fake now, because you show no interest in when they were 5. I'll use myself as an example. When I was a kid, 3, 4, 5 years old, and my mom used to say, your dad is here. I used to be all excited, by the time I was 18, I can care less if my dad was around, because he wasn't married to my mom. I can care less, because he was only around, I probably only been around my dad 5 times my entire life. And we're talking short visits. A couple of hours here, a couple of hours there. That's it. That's the max amount of 5 times. So I kind of understood how when Will Smith was playing that role on The Fresh Prince about, I spent 18 good years without him. I'm gonna marry him nice, honey. Ain't nothing he can teach me about being a dad. The hell with it, that I can understand. I can totally relate to that scene. I can't relate to scenes where at least Carlton, Uncle Phil was Carlton's dad on the show. At least Carlton had a dad. Just like with Family Matters, at least, with Carl Winslow, at least Eddie Winslow had a dad. Same thing with Good Times, with JJ and Michael, and at least they had a dad. Of course, they had him killed in the show, but at least they had a dad. I didn't grow up with that, so now being an adult, I can care less what my dad cares about. My dad doesn't know anything about this, so. What I'm saying is you got to be careful in your relationships and choices, because and it's probably partially because I didn't grow up with a dad to see a father figure, because not only is a dad to his kids, a son could see if that dad is also a husband, and he's seeing how his husband is treating his wife, which is his mother. He can learn how a relationship is supposed to go by watching his dad as an example for being a father, but also being a husband. I never learned all that. So that's the reason why I never stayed married. I didn't know how to be a husband because I never saw it. So I'm just throwing that out there. And some people may think, well, how's that relate to me? Because you want peace of mind. If you're in a relationship and you're trying to do music, you're going to have to balance between doing your music, your career, and still managing your relationship. Because if not, one's going to give over the other. And I'm just doing this as a life lesson learned. I'm 50 something years old. I'm saying this as a life lesson learned. Because you think about Thanksgiving's coming up. I'm not married. I spend Thanksgivings by myself. I used to have to spend Thanksgiving with my wife. I used to spend Christmases with my wife. I'm divorced. So just want to throw that out there. Think about all that. Think about all that when you're trying to do this music career. You got to prioritize what's really important. You're going to have to balance it. If not, you can be in situations like myself. Yeah, I love this. All this is great. Having a studio and being able to do music and all that. But it's really also nice having a family, spending families together, especially the holidays. It's a sad sight to see someone spending Thanksgiving or Christmas by themselves. Like me, I've gotten used to it. But when you start seeing all the movies and all the people that are married, got family with kids and all that, and they're spending Thanksgiving together, that's special. So I just want y'all to think about that. I thought that's important. All of it's important if you want to have peace of mind, especially when you're trying to do music. Thanks for watching, and y'all have a great one.